Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Magic the Gathering Arena. Yes, I'm back. It's actually a Magic Arena video. So we're going to take it easy today. I do have some new decks that I'm brewing, but today I want to pick up some new cards from Lorwyn Eclipsed. We'll get to limited in, in a second here. I might post a couple of drafts, but today we're going to play the format that is really good for a new player for filling out a bunch of cards in your collection at a really reasonable price. And that is Jump In. Now, sometimes for the set releases like Universes Beyond, it seems like they'll have an event like a few days or a week after the new set's been out, where you can play Jump In with only cards from the new set. But what I have heard is that the Lorwyn packets are just distributed with all the other Jump In. Now, that's kind of unfortunate, because I'd like to just, get the new cards from the new set, but we'll collect it how we have to. So, when you play Jump In, well, first of all, on a new account, after you've done your quests and things to unlock decks, up here where the tokens appear, where these draft tokens are, you might get some red tokens that give you free Jump In events. And when you play Jump In, it's kind of like Jump Start in Paper Magic. You'll get to pick from a couple of different packets. You'll shuffle them together and make your deck. So, if you don't have one of those tokens, it costs either 1,000 gold or 200 gems to enter down here. I'm going to pay the gold. And now we're going to see what we've got access to. So, they also have a descriptive word. So, this is teeny, which probably cares about things that are small in size and small in power. And as you can see, it's mono white. It only has a white symbol. Or drawing. So this is a mono blue packet. And you can see from this card here, it cares about drawing your second card every turn. And then we've got Pyrrhic down here, and it's two colors, white and black. And you can see that it cares about sacrificing things from this removal spell it features. So, there's a little bit of strategy sometimes to what you want to start off with your packets. So your second packet, it has to kind of interface with the first one. So if I pick Pyrrhic as my first packet, I'm not likely to get a red-green packet as my second one. It's not going to try to push me into like a 5-color deck unless there's a 5-color packet, usually. So if you pick a monocolored packet, usually there's a wider range of secondary packets you have access to. Let's start with drawing today. I'd like to find something from the new set. Alright, so here's frogs, that's blue-green. So far we haven't seen anything from Lorwyn. This is, oh, I forgot the name of it. Bloomburrow. Yeah, this was from Bloomburrow. Here's Teeny again, and Flyers. Alright, so drawing Flyers. I might go ahead and show you what to expect here once we take these. So now we've got our packets, we've got the Drawing Flyers deck. We can click on the deck box, and it will show us what's inside. So it gives you a few non-basic lands. Right, so we've got this Guild Gate, it's got the gate type, we've got Tranquil Coves that gain life, it makes each of the colors of mana. We've got an Evolving Wilds. All of these are your cards to keep. These are added to your collection when you play this. Now we've got two rares, one from each of the packets. One is Arcanus the Omnipotent here, and sometimes there'll be like a couple of different rares or a mythic rare that it kind of cycles between, so you have a random chance of getting with the packet. Let's see, Cloud Blazer. Let's see if we can find the other rare. Here it is. High Fae Trickster. So this is a 4/2 flash flyer, and you can cast spells as though they had flash, so it turns everything in your deck instant speed. So, Arcanus the Omnipotent, the Trickster are the rares. Let's see how many uncommons we get. So there's 3 right there. There's 2 more, that's 5, 6. We'll keep looking. 7. Alright. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so yeah, we've got 2 rares, 12 uncommons in this 40 card deck. Only 14 of the 40 cards are basic lands, so we're getting 26 cards here. So if there's 2 rares and 12 uncommons, that's 14 of those, so then there's another 12 commons to fill out the rest. This is 1,000 gold. When you go to the store to buy a booster pack is also 1,000 gold, and an arena booster pack has, what, 7, 8 cards in it? I think it's 7. Where you'll get like a guaranteed rare, a couple of guaranteed uncommons. Some of the cards in the pack can randomly be upgraded to wild cards, but if you are looking for the most bang for your buck in this game, this is the way to get the most cards, and a lot of them actually are reasonably playable in Standard. Like Spectral Sailor's not embarrassing if you want to do a budget version of like the Dimir Tempo deck. No one would bat an eye at you for playing that. Eaten by Piranhas is actually totally reasonable blue removal. Let's see, Inspiring Overseer sees play in the Angel lists. Faebloom Trick sees play in Fairy decks. Up until Quick Study was forced out of the format by the sorcery from Ether Drift. Up until then, people were playing Quick Study. This was seeing Standard play just a little while ago. And if you're making a budget version of a deck, then obviously they're playable cards. You know, you use stuff like Quick Study until you can upgrade to the better versions of the cards. So yeah, a lot of stuff in here is totally serviceable. Filling out your mana base with stuff like Evolving Wilds, and that can be useful for landfall decks. So there's a bunch of good stuff going on. You know, a good smattering of playable spells that you'll get, and just building your collection. And eventually, if you start getting repeat commons and uncommons and stuff, that can affect your vault progress. Once you get more than a playset, every common adds 0.1% vault progress, every uncommon adds 0.3%. And once you get to 100%, you can open the vault. It has, I believe, 3 uncommon wild cards, 2 rares, and 1 mythic. So basically, I'm just saying Jump In has a ton of value for what it costs. On top of all of that, as long as you play long enough to get at least 1 win, and you don't get knocked out of this ever, you can play as long as you want to. You can stay logged in to Jump In and finish your daily quests by playing Jump In with the same deck over and over. But as long as you get 1 win, you'll get an uncommon card reward, which has a 5% chance of getting upgraded to a rare or a mythic. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward now to see if we can find some packets from the new set. Alright, so let's try again, see if Lorwyn has been added to Jump In yet, or whether we're jumping the gun here. Here we go. Okay, this is a Lorwyn packet here. Burdened. So it looks like there's a giant here, and it's got -1 counters. It's blue-white. So maybe this is some kind of -1 counters thing in blue-white. There's rabbits, that's from Bloomburrow. And raiders from the base set. And we want to see Lorwyn cards, so we're going to take Burdened here. Alright, Thresholds from Bloomburrow. Teeny is from Duskmorn. And Hares is from the core set. That's Foundations. Alright, what do I want to try to pair with Burdened? It doesn't seem like Threshold would really be the thing. Huh, Patched Plaything actually comes in with -1 counters. That might actually play with Burdened. Okay. Burdened and Teeny. They're so small and they carry so much weight. Alright. Let's look at this deck. Okay, so the deck, it looks like they've swapped us out in this case to be mono white. They still give us a couple of Tranquil Coves and a few islands. Maybe there's some blue in the deck for an activated ability, but yeah, so this makes the deck easier to play now that it's monocolored. Let's see, where are our rares? Oh, here's one, Enduring Innocence. This actually sees play in multiple formats. This is a great rare to pick up. So, there you go. That probably came from the Duskmorn packet, because it's got the Duskmorn rarity symbol. And what did we get as our rare from Lorwyn? Oh, here it is. Riss the Evermore. So this guy's cool. So he can flash in at instant speed, 2/2 for 2. Give another creature you control persist, so if it doesn't have a -1 counter, and it dies, it can come back that turn with a -1 counter on it. Then later, once he doesn't have Summoning Sickness, you can pay a white and tap and remove any number of counters from a creature. So he can heal that creature back up, or he could do other shenanigans. You know, maybe he could pull all of the counters off of something more dangerous. Like Patched Plaything comes in with 2 -1 counters, and Risk could pull those off of it. There's a cross-set synergy. So then, instead of a 2/1 double striker, you'd have a 4/3. Alright. We are here to play with the new cards, so I'm going to go ahead and get in here and show you some games with this deck. We're trying to get to at least one win. I'm also hoping we get a good game in. Sometimes in Jump In, people will quit the game a little sooner than they would on the ladder, since it doesn't affect your ranking. But I'm hoping we can get at least one good game in with the deck to showcase it. And then I'd like to see if we can find some other Lorwyn packets to show off. Alright, we're up against Felky. They've got a goblin as their avatar from the new set. Go first. We can get a free mulligan, but I'm willing to try it. Read on tap land. Okay, good. We got our next land. So this, whenever it becomes tapped. Okay, so if we get this out here and it attacks, it's going to be a 3/2 when it attacks. Unless we find some other way to tap it. Alright, so we've got Riss, we know what he does. But unfortunately, this does have -1 counters on it, so he can't save it. We might end up playing Meander's Guide after combat. So it can get back things that died from the graveyard, as long as you can tap another Merfolk. Which plays into this theme of tapping. So I think we'll go ahead and get the guide. Looks like our opponent is blue-black. So Black's going to have some creature removal, probably. Got a lot of blue mana so far. Okay. So let's see. Pyrrhic Strike. You can blight 2. You can destroy an artifact or enchantment or a creature with mana value 3 or greater, or do both. Okay. This, you can return something from the graveyard, or if we had 4 mana, we could play Hospital Room. Okay. None of that seems to be relevant right this second, so we're just going to attack. Unless they do something. Huh. They're going to tap the Reachery. I mean, I guess that does save them a little bit of damage. But that is going to grow it. So, we'll hopefully find something to remove with the Pyrrhic Strike here. If not, we might flash in Riss. Huh. Top or bottom of the library? Okay. Yeah, sure. I think I will take it over a random card. I think I'm going to flash in the Riss just to keep applying pressure to them. So I'm just going to play him as a flash 2/2 here at the end of their turn, so that we're attacking for 5. Alright, I'm going to play this Reachery out. Oh, we can use Riss to pull the counters off of it. That's cool. Now we don't need to tap it. We don't have anything in the graveyard anyway. I wasn't thinking about that interaction with Riss. Not used to him yet. It's a new set. You gotta learn all the patterns and interactions. Okay. Play your second spell each turn, it gets a counter. And they play this thing that puts a counter on a creature and draws a card. Alright. So, let's see, I can exile something with power 4 or greater. I don't really have a use for the rest of my mana, though. Should I just use Liminal Hold to be more mana efficient? I think I will. Okay, and that does it. So, I think that was enough of a game as an example for what this deck does. So this is like daily wins, daily wins, weekly wins kind of stuff. And now we're going to claim our card for having won at least one game in the event. Okay, it is from the new set, that's cool. Now we're going to hit Resign. Alright, now we're going to keep hunting and try to find some more of the Lorwyn packets. Alright, Mill. This is from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Goblins. This is from Lorwyn, so that's what we're looking for. And then Elves from Foundations. So we're going to take the Lorwyn Goblins. We're trying to get the new cards here. Red-black. Now, we could make the Goblins Goblin deck. That sounds like fun. We'll see what else is here, though. Alright, Life. A life gain deck, probably based around enchantments that came from Duskmourn. And Wrecked. This is from Ether Drift. It's probably got a vehicle theme. So, Goblins Goblin is probably going to be really powerful because it's going to have all the synergy of goblins in both packets. This should be fun. Let's take a look at the deck here. Alright, so we've got some non-basic lands. Oh, we actually got a Blood Corrupt. This is one of our rares. You know what? That is a great rare to give away in a packet. That is one of the cleanest, most useful rares I've ever seen in one of these packets. Like, something that was an artifact that goes in every deck would be good, but these lands are amazing. Usually you have to craft these. So this is fantastic that you can get it from, just one of the packets. We also got Bloodfell Caves, the Wilds. We've also got Grub's Command as another rare. I wonder... These are both from Lorwyn. I wonder if they're actually giving us 2 rares from the Lorwyn packet. That would be cool. Huh. I don't think we had a dual land like that in our last one. Alright, so Grub's Command. This is a fun goblin sorcery. You can copy goblins, give your creatures +1 in haste, destroy an artifact or creature, or target player mills 5 cards and puts all the goblin cards milled into their hand. So, we are all goblins all the time. Here's Krinko. This is our rare from Foundations. He's going to be great in this deck. Just taps to make goblins, where goblins are equal to the goblins. Goblins, goblin. Yeah, this looks like fun. We'll just make sure there's not another rare floating around. It's great that we got 3 rares in this. That is more than you ever get. I don't recall jump-in packets giving 3 rares in them before. So this seems like a great deal. Alright, let's go kill people with some goblins. So we're going to look and see if we can find... Well, there's no Lorwyn in this first batch. We've got otters, which care about non-creature spells and otters. Tokens, which is probably pretty effective with stuff from Lorwyn, but maybe the wrong creature type. And Encounter. Encounter has Snakeskin Veil. I don't know, let's try it. Alright, there's Rats from Bloomburrow, Drawing from Foundations, Exhausted. Okay. So these were not what I was looking for. I'll go ahead and show you the deck real quick, since I'm kind of walking you through what to expect here. So we got this Evolving Wilds, we have this Raceway, that's a little unusual. It's got the Start Your Engines mechanic, so the speed starts at 1, and when an opponent loses life on your turn, once each turn, the speed increases. And then you can sack this land later to draw a card. Let's see. What are the rares from these packets? Okay, Warden of the Grove. This is kind of an interesting one. So it gets a counter on your end step, and then when non-token creatures enter for you, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on the creature. So it can either put out that many spirits, or it can get that many counters. That's an interesting mechanic. And let's see, Sita Varma. This must be the other rare. Sita Varma was great in Limited. It was a very powerful card in Limited. Never quite found home in Constructed. I think the activated ability is probably about 1 mana too expensive to be like an ideal play for Standard. That being said, you could probably build around it anyway. You know, when you're first getting started in Arena, your decks aren't going to be perfect. You just kind of use what you got. Alright, let's try for a Lorwyn packet this time. Well, that's Ether Drift. That's Bloomburrow. That's Bloomburrow. Alright, let's try Bats and see where that takes us. Okay, Rats, Cats, and Life. None of these are from Lorwyn. Too bad. I'm trying to think of what would go with Bats here. Probably Life. bats care about gaining life. So let's see. Oh, you can get Unholy Annex from this life packet from Duskmourn. So there's a great black demons deck built around Unholy Annex. It shows up in a bunch of different lists. You can play this with Changelings. A fantastic card to get in one of these packets. Something you would likely maybe want to craft if you're into playing black. Where's our other rare? Lunar Convocation. So this is an interesting enchantment. Usually only sees play in the bats decks, but I could see building some kind of a life gain control deck in black-white that could use this too. So it's a 2-mana enchantment. You can pay a black and 1 and 2 life to draw a card. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, each opponent loses 1. If you gained and lost life this turn, you get a bat with flying. It's an interesting engine. So it can draw you cards. As long as you gained life, you can use this to trigger to lose life to make a bat. It's pretty neat. Alright, we're gonna try again. Let's see, Lizards is Bloomburrow, Mardu is from Tarkir Dragonstorm, Exhausted is from Aetherdrift. So let's see, I think if I take a mono-colored one, I'd be more likely to see a wider range of other packets. So I'm going to take Lizards here and see if I can get something from Lorwyn. Graveyard is from Tarkir Dragonstorm, Mice is from Bloomburrow, and there's Life again. Alright, well, let's pick Graveyard and see what's in it. Okay. Nothing too crazy in the lands. Okay, Hearthborn Battler. It's a 2/3 with haste. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. So this triggers no matter who's casting their second spell each turn. So if you cast 2 spells, it hits the opponent. If the opponent casts 2 spells, it hits the opponent. That's cool. Because it targets, it would also work with committing crimes from Thunder Junction. Okay, we have Avenger of the Fallen. This is a pretty decent card. It's a 2/4 Death Touch for 3. It's pretty sturdy. And when it attacks, you mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. This thing can deal a lot of damage. And being a 2/4 with Death Touch, it can tangle with most other creatures in combat. So, it's pretty reasonable. It hasn't quite found any homes in a long time. It did see a little bit of standard play when it first came out. But I would say a serviceable card for sure. Certainly for a new player. Let's keep looking. Alright, Primordials from Aetherdrift. Stations is from Edge of Eternities. Threshold is from the base set, Foundations. Oh. Let's see, let's try the mono-colored one. Hopefully it'll give us the most different options. Alright, I've got Rats from Bloomburrow, Survival from Duskmourn, Hares from the core set. Huh. Well, let's look at Survival and see what it's got. So here's another Avishkar Raceway. Oh, this has got one of the Duskmourn common duels, they can come in untapped if a player has 13 or less life. These are actually a pretty good budget option for standard. At least some amount of the time they come into play untapped, and if you're fighting against a aggro player, someone who's pressuring your life total, it's much more likely that it's going to come into play untapped during that game. So you can hold this one back in your hand, play out your other lands earlier, on the hopes that this might come in untapped later in the game. It's really not bad for a common land. So one of the rares is a Gonosaur Rex. It's an 8/8 trampler for 5. You can cycle it for 3 to draw a card, and when you do, you put 2 counters on a creature or a vehicle, and it gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. So it's kind of a neat combat trick. If the dinosaurs deck was viable in standard, I would say a Gonosaur Rex, it'd probably be like a 1 or 2 of in that deck as like a good cycling trick. It can give trample at instant speed, it can give a buff at instant speed, indestructible to protect your creature. And, late in the game, if you just need another big dinosaur threat, you can just play it. Unfortunately, dinosaurs has not really been able to survive in our current standard metagame. I still think the card could be fun, though. We also got Rip, Spawn Hunter, 4/4 for 4. And these care about being tapped, the survivors do, from Duskmoor. So survival, at the beginning of your second main phase, if Rip is tapped, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is its power, normally 4, could be higher. Put any number of creatures and vehicle cards with different powers from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in random order. This is a pretty strong effect. This is pretty decent. The fact that you could get Rip down, find a way to tap it, and get value on the same turn you played it is pretty good. The opponent has a chance to kill it before you pull that off. If this put the cards directly into play, we'd be having a totally different conversation. Instead, it puts them in your hand. So, I think it's a decent card when you're like tooling around in the early days on Arena. I don't think it quite cuts it if you're getting up into, the serious metagame. Alright, try it again. Artifacts from Aetherdrift. Wayfaring from Edge of Eternities. Rats from Balloon Burrow. One of the reasons I've been avoiding taking rats is I recall this being one of the weaker packets in Jump In. But you know what? Let's go ahead and take rats. It's monocolored. It should have a wide range of packets it can pair with. Alright, we got Void from Edge of Eternities. We got Graveyard from Aetherdrift. And we've got Discard from Tarkir Dragonstorm. So the rats, I think they kind of care about Threshold. Let's see, Graveyard or Void would probably be... Actually, all of these probably pair pretty well with rats, come to think of it. So which one am I curious about what it has in it? Let's take a look at Void. Let's see what's in there. Okay, one of our rares, is a mythic rare. It's this land. Susur Secundi, the Void Altar. Comes in tapped, makes black mana, it's a planet, and has the station ability, which means creatures can tap at sorcery speed to station it, and they put counters on it equal to their power. Once you've got 12 counters on this thing, it can pay 2, tap, pay 2 life, and sack a creature, and you draw cards equal to that creature's power. It's a neat ability, but the standard that we're playing in is very fast. So I feel like because of the speed of our formats, this land doesn't really have a home at the moment. I think in other formats like Commander, it would be probably pretty decent, though. This is a way you can tap down some of your survivors and things, though. Alright. Huskburster Swarm is interesting. It costs 1 less for each creature card you own in exile and your graveyard. So this can be a 1 mana 6/6 Menace Death Touch. Let's see. Grafkill was decent for limited removal. Oh, Zoo Ifit, Osteoharmonist. This is an interesting rare. 2/3 for 3. Legendary Human Wizard. You can tap to return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton, in addition to its other types, and has no abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. There is a deck going around right now with one of the new cards from the new set. It's a little 1/1 flyer for 2. It puts like a flying death touch and lifelink counter on a creature and removes all abilities from it. And there's like an 8/8 for 2 mana that normally can't attack or block. Some other big creatures that people are pairing it with. I think at least a couple copies of this card should be in that deck, so that when those big things die, you can bring them back with no abilities. So, you know, that 8/8 for 2, after it dies, then Zoo Ifit at some point can pull it back as an 8/8 skeleton. It loses its abilities, which means now it can attack and block. Seems like, you know, this should at least be a 1-of in that deck, and I think you could make room for maybe 2 or 3. Oh, it looks like we have at least one more rare. We've got Cruel Claw's Heist. That's neat. So we got 3 rares in this packet. So I enjoy this card. I use it in one of my main decks on Arena. So you can just play it for 2 and exile a card from their hand. If you gift them a card, first they draw it, then you look at their hand with the card in it. And when you exile it, now you can play it yourself. And mana can be spent as any type. So you can either just take away one of their cards, or you can give them a replacement card but steal one of their cards. It's really neat. It's a lot of fun. Alright, I'm gonna look a little bit longer. Having a hard time finding these Lorwyn packets, though. There's Manifest from Duskmourn, here's Wrecked from Aetherdrift, here's Zombie from Foundations. Let's take Zombie and see where we go. Top Speed from Aetherdrift, Abzan from Tarkir, Eerie from Duskmourn. Let's see what's in Abzan. Okay, so there's a bunch of non-basics here. There's the Sandstep Citadel that makes 3 colors of mana. Jungle Hollow, Scoured Barrens. Alright. We've got some interesting uncommons. Here's Baitor. Kin to All. Okay, so you can get this mythic rare dragon in Abzan. And it cares about having a high total toughness of creatures in play. So, at your end step, as long as you have 10 toughness, so if you have 3 other toughness on the battlefield besides Baitor, then you'll draw a card. If they have 20 or more toughness, you untap all of them. So, you know, you can tap them to crew, to station, to saddle, to attack, and then at the end of the turn, Baitor untaps them all. That's you know, useful. Then if they have 40 or more, which is not very likely, then each opponent loses half their life rounded up. That one's kind of a win more ability. I think the important one is the first one. If you get to 10 toughness, you draw a card every turn. And it's a giant flying dragon. 5 mana is a little bit pricey for standard. But I will say 7 toughness is a lot. There are some types of decks that would have trouble removing it. What other rares might we have? Oh, here's Midnight Reaper. This is a good one. It's a 3/2 Zombie Knight, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, this deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. So, as your creatures are dying, being traded off in combat, or you sacrifice them to like vampiric rites or what have you, then Midnight Reaper is giving you extra cards as that's happening. Alright, let's take one more look here. We got Threshold from Foundations. We got Cats from Foundations. We got Primordial from Ether Drift. Well, I'm starting to wonder if it's really hard to get the packets from Lorwyn. They're just in this big mix of all the other sets. It's kind of a shame. Well, let's try Threshold. Alright, there's Void from Edge of Eternities. We've got Threshold with the rats from Bloomburrow. And Eerie. Let's see what was in Eerie. Okay. A few non-basics. Some interesting commons and uncommons. Let's see where our rares are here. Kiora. Okay. Sometimes Kiora sees some standard play. When she enters the battlefield, you draw 2, discard 2, so that can be good for a graveyard-focused deck, or for a deck that cares about discard. So it could be good in blue-black, could be good in blue-red. And once you have Threshold, and she attacks, you get a 8/8 Legendary Octopus. So, yeah, she's cool. Playable card. Not quite at the top tier at the moment, but still very good. Oh, an Entity Tracker. Yeah, so this sees play in kind of one specific deck. That's like an aura, kind of tempo aggro deck. It's very good there, though. So you can flash it in at the end of the opponent's turn. You can protect it with an aura that has flash. And all of your enchantments that are entering are drawing you cards. So this is like the old Enchantress effects. It's a really good one. A 2/3 for 3 with flash. It's a very good Enchantress. It does see play in standard in kind of one specific deck that you'll see around on the ladder sometimes. Well, folks, that's about as much money as I'm willing to throw at the wall in terms of looking for these Lorwyn packets. I'm a little disappointed. They're hard to find. So if your goal, like mine, was to start establishing a collection of Lorwyn cards, this is not the way I would tell you to do it. I would suggest that you either wait for the quick drafts to come around. They cost half as much as the premier drafts. Or you can just play in, the premier drafts, sealed, traditional drafts. All of those cards get added to your collection. You can earn gems, kind of convert your gold into gems, and that can help you to buy the Mastery Pass. I'll show you where that's at. If you go here on the main screen, next to the weekly XP, there's this track for the Mastery Pass. And if you collect up 3,400 gems, you can unlock this bottom track, which this is worth the investment before you get to the halfway point most of the time. Now, it looks like this one is shorter than some that I remember. Some of them have gone up to like 60, or I remember in the past some were like 90 or 100 levels when there's a long time between sets. Looks like this one's not as deep. So let's make sure it's still kind of worth your trouble. So we get card styles and mastery orbs. You can unlock like different avatars for yourself and different card styles. But the big ones are things like 3 packs of cards, 3 mythic rares, 600 gems in 2 packs. That's a really good one. A player draft token. That is worth 1,500 gems or 10,000 gold by itself. So, at the point that you've gotten to like level 17 or 19 with these 3 packs, by then it's probably paid for itself, and you can continue to unlock, 3 mythic rares, 3 more packs, 4,000 gold in 2 packs, 4 mythic rares. So yeah, it looks like it's still worth it. It looks like they've condensed the rewards into a smaller track because there's not as much time between sets. So it looks like it's probably still worth it. 5 packs of Through the Omen pads. It's still a pretty good reward, even if it's not everyone's favorite set. And finally, you get this really cool card sleeve. This has been traditionally one of the things you get high up in the Mastery Pass, is like a really cool card sleeve. So, and then once you go past the top, you can start getting uncommon card rewards that can have a 5% chance to upgrade to a rare or mythic every level past 40. So it looks like it's still a good deal. The math has changed on it a bit, but it looks like they've condensed the rewards into a smaller space. So yeah, I think as long as you get to like level 19 or 21, then probably buying this is going to be worth your time. Anyway, next time I join you all, I'll probably be doing some drafts of Lorwyn Eclipsed, so stay tuned. I may also be putting out some new decks, where I jump into Standard with some crazy weird brews and see if I can manage to accomplish anything on the ladder. So, if you could like my videos or subscribe to the channel, those are helpful. Looking at the other videos is actually the biggest one. That's the thing that helps the channel the most. And you can comment, of course. I will engage you if you're interested in talking to me in the comments. Anyway, until next time, never stop honing your critical thinking and empathy.